Hey folks, Eric here, the Whatever Guy, because it really is whatever to me. And do you folks want to answer the question, what's the more trusted source, dispensary or pharmacy? You guys stick around, man, and we'll talk about that. As you guys know, man, my name's Eric. I am the Whatever Guy, and I usually shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp, cannabis, what's going on around. And today, man, we're continuing the discussion of the move of cannabis to Schedule 3. As you guys know, a couple months ago, HHS actually made a recommendation to the DEA that they should move cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. And that move is going to happen, guys. Like, everybody's wondering whether it's going to happen, but the issue is on the other side of it is trying to figure out how we are going to navigate, the cannabis industry going forward. Because as I said before, many times on this channel, we've talked about this. I feel as though allowing this to move to Schedule 3 and allowing these pharmacies, or excuse me, these drug companies to come in here and put these products in national pharmacies that would allow doctors to prescribe the medications, whether you're in a medical state or not, is a crazy situation, especially for those of us like in Alabama, where we're applying for a medical cannabis license. In medical, in Alabama, you can't have any smokable products. So everything that we're going to have is going to be suppositories, tinctures, and stuff like that. And all of that stuff will be sold in pharmacies by spring of next year. Like these drug companies, if they make this move to Schedule 3, will be allowed to put these products on the shelf in nationally based pharmacies and independent pharmacies, obviously, that apply for that. But having said that, we're going to slide over here to an article over here at this is over at Green Street, I think. Greenstate.com. You guys can check it out. And basically, the head of the article is will the DEA reschedule cannabis? Washington insiders offer clues. The answer to that question, guys, is yes. The DEA has never went against anything the HHS, any recommendation they've said. As a matter of fact, I think they point out in this article that they can't go against anything that that the HHS recommends. And basically what they're saying here is that if they move it to Schedule 3 and out of Schedule 1, they're getting it out of the hands of the heroin and all that kind of stuff and moving it down into a position where these drug companies can make the drugs surrounding these right here and put them in pharmacies. Now, my question to you guys is like, as we move forward into this, and you're in a medical state, if you're in medical Alabama, and we get medical, we finally get all the debacle screwed up and get it fixed, and we actually issue licenses next year, about the same time that the DA reschedules this to Schedule 3. In the future, my question to you is, when a doctor hands you a prescription, where are you going to go? Are you going to go to a dispensary, or are you going to go to the pharmacy? The United States of America, the people that are in the United States of America have already been in a position where they're used to going to pharmacies. A pharmacy is a more trusted source to get your products from. You understand that anything that comes out of a pharmacy has a lot of regulations over the top of it and a lot of laws and stuff that have to be followed. And you don't have any of that in the dispensary space. And so as we move forward, this is what I think is really going to kill cannabis and allow the drug companies to take over. It says it's been more than 2 months since the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services formally recommended cannabis to be moved from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Since then, people on all sides of federal legalization debate have been waiting with bated breath for the Drug Enforcement Agency to follow suit. According to Washington insiders, that change could be imminent. Howard Schlamberg, a former official of the Food and Drug Administration, believes it's only a matter of time before the DEA officially designates cannabis as Schedule 3. Schlamberg previously predicted the HHS recommendation before it was announced. I don't think it will take terribly long. Schlamberg pointed to a congressional report released in mid-September suggesting the DEA does not have the authority to disagree with the HHS opinion. The paper's authors noted that they were unaware of any instance where the DEA has rejected an FDA recommendation to reschedule. As a Schedule 1 substance, cannabis is considered a drug with no currently accepted medical use and high potential for abuse, and is equated to heroin and LSD. Schedule 3 drugs, such as ketamine and Tylenol with codeine, are deemed as having a moderate to low potential for physical and psychological dependence. The timeline for scheduling will likely be impacted by the presidential election season, according to analysts quoted by the MJ Biz Daily. The recommendation could be accepted by the DEA and take effect as early as next spring. While the move could trigger lawsuits meant to delay the switch, the U.S. Supreme Court would likely rule in the DEA's favor. They're wanting to get this done. They'll want to have the final rule done certainly by 2024, and probably not too late in 2024, given the political cycle. If moved to Schedule 3, the FDA would regulate cannabis like any other pharmaceutical. It would mean marijuana businesses are no longer subject to oppressive taxation or strict banking regulations, and could open the doors for a unified market. However, the debate over whether rescheduling could be a win for the cannabis community continues to rage. And this is where we're going to talk about what I believe. Proponents of descheduling, wherein cannabis would be removed from the controlled substances list altogether and regulated like alcohol, argue that a Schedule 3 designation would open the doors for big pharma to take over the nascent industry. With the lack of movement on cannabis in Washington, while the lack of movement on cannabis in Washington may lead to some scratch their heads, sources within the political arena say the change is coming quickly. A recent decision in Georgia to sell low potency cannabis products in pharmacies could signal a wider shift in how people buy their weed, but time will only tell. Guys, we've talked about this. I think we did a video probably about a week ago where we talked about the fact that Georgia is allowing these independent pharmacies to sell low THC products in their pharmacy. And again, I ask you the question, if you were in a state, and whether you're a medical marijuana state or not, and you walked into a doctor and he recommended that you try a product like Marinol or any other type of cannabis product, my question to you is, when you walk out of there, where are you going to go to fill that prescription? Are you going to go to a pharmacy, which you have been doing, your whole life, or are you going to go out of your way to a dispensary to fill that prescription? That's the real question, guys. And that's the real question of the whole thing. It's like, people don't understand that, I personally, even though I'm a cannabis user and I'm used to going to dispensaries and stuff like that, if a doctor handed me a prescription, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go to the pharmacy to pick that prescription up, because I want exactly what I was prescribed to get for the whatever ailment that I've got going on. And that, guys, in and of itself is a crazy situation, because as I've said, moving this over, Big Pharma has way more money than anybody in cannabis does. I don't care how much money cannabis thinks they got. Big Pharma has all the money. And with all the restrictions on the advertising, you would have to think that on the other side, America being one of the only countries in the world that allow these pharmacy companies to actually advertise on the TV. So you would be in a position where, if you were a medical cannabis license holder, you could be, doing business in the state of Alabama. And all the while, the big pharmacy has taken over the space, and they basically can advertise however they want to on TV. They could literally bring you marijuana commercials right to the TV about marijuana drugs, where dispensaries and people like me can't do that. All right, folks, is Whatever Guy signing off, and I hope you're having a great week, and I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with this Schedule 3, and I apologize for being a little bit jawed up, but I'll talk to you guys later, man, and I hope you're having a great week. Love you. See you.